You know, Mr. Moore, it's a quite coincidence that we bumped into each other on the street, because we were actually about to form our BBC literary news outlet.
Yeah, you know, I was just protesting a bank, you know, out there, Capital One, trying to stick it to the man, you know, just like I do every day. I try to do that, you know.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, I'm Eduardo Chavez, and this is Michael Moore.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Chavez.
Yes, author of Dude, Where's My Country? So can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude, Where's My Country is kind of a collection of my own opinions, and in a humorous fashion, that I present in order to try to convey my opinions to the American people about what's going on with the Bush administration in today's day and age.
I see. Can you tell us why you decided to write your book?
Yeah, absolutely, totally. Well, I wanted to inform the American people of my opinions, as I said earlier, in a humorous fashion, and I feel as though my book kind of conveys those things in a very sarcastic way, which makes the people, every viewer in every form of social media kind of much more able to understand exactly what I'm trying to get across. And because I'm conveying it in such a sarcastic manner with, I think, wit, some may call it genius, you know, David Sedaris says the same thing.
Yes.
Some call it genius. I would say the same thing, you know. And with that kind of style, I hope that they will understand better and better get my point across.
Very interesting. So let's talk more about your use of literary devices throughout the book.
Totally.
For any of you viewers at home who've read the book, you know that Mr. Moore is quite sarcastic, and he has very interesting ways of bringing his point across in ways that he does it throughout the book. So, Mr. Moore, can you elaborate on these literary devices that you use?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you elaborate on these literary devices that you use?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was, never mind. Anyway, well, yeah, sure, I'll elaborate on those literary devices. For example, I use a lot of metaphors and analogies in order to convey my points to the reader. In addition to that, I use some flashbacks, not as many of those as flash forwards. I actually use a lot of flash forwards in order to convey what I think the Bush administration is actually doing to the American people and the American way of life, and where it will take us in the future. And hopefully, with your help, we can actually get Bush out of office to walk across and out of the ballpark.
So, yeah.
The ballpark being a metaphor for the country. See what I did there? It was literary devices. It was a metaphor for the country.
So, yeah.
Now, what I would like to say about flash forwards is I actually use one that's very grandiose in the book. It's very specific, where I talk about a dream that I had, one of many. The other one involved me smearing tofutti on a camel.
Yes, I do remember that.
It's more fun than you might think.
Really?
Anyway, besides that, I also had a dream in which I talked to my great-granddaughter.
Really?
Ann Coulter Moore. I'm not sure how she got that name, but she has it. And I was talking to her. She's unborn. I don't even know if she's planned. She might be a chocolate bar in her dad's back pocket. But she was in the dream, and I actually conveyed to her what I thought was going to happen in the future and how it actually played out. And she actually told me what was going on in her future. And actually, while we were talking, while I was protesting the bank, I actually carried a clip in my back pocket. We can roll that. Can we?
Really?
Can we roll that?
Quite convenient.
Is that okay? Can we do that?
Please roll that.
Roll that clip.
That was quite an interesting clip we just saw. Can you tell us what you hope to accomplish from writing this book?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really what I aimed to do by writing this book, or what I aimed to do while I was writing it, was I really wanted to convey to the American people my own opinions. Kind of what I thought about the whole situation with the Bush administration, how my opinions on Al-Qaeda and everything that's going on in the Middle East right now in 2003, and also kind of let you in on my life and how I interpret my surroundings as being liberal, which I think we'll get into later, how I interpret being liberal and how I portray conservatives in my life.
Oh, it's quite interesting.
So really, I just wanted to make sure that President Bush would read this book and get really offended and leave.
Yeah, I think you accomplished that, the offending part. Okay, so now can we talk about the last two chapters, the real conclusion of your book, because this was actually quite different and unique when compared to the rest of the book.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, I'll talk about it for a little bit. The last two chapters are kind of a self-help chapter, but not in a pejorative sense. They're actually trying to get you to be more liberal, the person reading, and also to help the person reading actually contribute to society and get the Bush administration out of office. But that's the last chapter. The penultimate one is entitled How to Talk to Your Conservative Brother-in-Law. We all have them. Picture a Thanksgiving dinner scene, all your families gathered together, everybody seated around And there's that one conservative brother-in-law. You know him. You know him. All the camera guys know him. You know. And the Bush, for example, okay, so the Bush, your conservative brother-in-law is saying, the Bush tax cut is going to help this country get on the way to prosperity. Haha, please. Nobody believes that, right? No, nobody believes that. Which is why I propose to you a list of things that we can do to help you kind of convert your conservative brother-in-law to being liberal. I actually brought a list with me. Can I have the list, please? Yeah, look at that. One fancy little list. I brought a list. First, option number 1. You must convince them that you're not trying to take their money.
Oh, no one likes that.
No one likes their money being taken, especially conservative, because they are, by nature, conservative.
I say, hence the name.
Conservative. Anyway, so you have to convince them that they're not trying to take their money, you know, that this will actually get them to make more money, but that comes later. Second, you actually have to journey into the mind of the conservative. Now, beware, this can be a dark and dangerous place, so tread lightly, okay? Watch your step. There may be bushes around, you know, little bushes, shrubbery, bushes, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
Bushes. Okay, if they journey into their mind, kind of understand where they're coming from. And by doing that, you can actually tell them, oh, you know, there are actually some things about conservatives that I really like. Because there are some things, few things that we like about conservatives. You know, they have certain good qualities. And there are also, you have to tell them certain things that you don't like about liberal people. I mean, there are certain things that we just need to fix. It's true. And you have to let them know that you understand that. And then after that, you can tell them to, you know, things that they can do, that actually being liberal will eventually make them more money in the future via economic subsidization and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good way to, you know, get your conservative brother-in-law to convert to being liberal.
Well, very interesting. Now, can you talk about your last chapter?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. The last chapter is entitled Bush Removal and Other Spring Cleaning Chores. You know, we can take Bush and dust him out of office. There he goes, again. Bush number 2.
Yeah.
Farther than with a broom, too. Anyway, as far as bush removal goes, our cameraman, can you take that again, please? Thank you, sir. Anyway, so as far as bush removal goes, it's quite easy. It actually gives you the reader, you. No, not you. Oh boy. You, there, yeah. That one.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Anyway. I see. Anyway, so bush removal and other spring cleaning chores is actually about letting you convert to being liberal and actually help yourself be more proactive in the economy and in politics. For example, there are things such as that I, encourage you to indulge, such as helping non-voters go out to vote.
Right.
That's a really good one. It's very easy. All the non-voters going, I don't want to vote. Let them vote, you know? Also, you can run for precinct delegate. You have to be 18, but if any of you are 18, you can definitely run for precinct delegate and actually make a difference yourself.
I see. That's quite interesting.
Yeah. And the final words of the book, I actually encourage you, the reader, once again, to go out and take what's yours, take the country. And I leave you with a quote from my book. Mm-hmm. Dude, where's your country? And I'll tell you, it's right outside your window, just waiting for you to take it home.
And with that, we conclude our interview with Mr. Moore. Now, please welcome our new literary critic that we just got off ABC. Here he is, James Bonds.
You just heard an interview from the author himself, Michael Moore. But now, I'm going to give you my professional opinion from a literary critic. I'm Bonds, James Bonds. Michael Moore's best-selling book, Dude, Where's My Country, is a collection of facts and stories presented by Moore in a comedic fashion. Moore, who is a very strong left-wingist Democrat, shows his disdain very clearly for conservatives, George W. Bush, tax cuts, the Iraq War, and the Patriot Act. A big issue Moore addresses in his book is the issue of Bush's relationship with the Saudi Arabian royal family. 15 of the 19 hijackers of the 9/11 attacks were Saudi Arabian. However, following the attacks, there was no information released to the public about them, nor an investigation on Bush's connections with the Saudis. He continues to attack Bush and many Republicans as well, with various quotes and stories. He finishes his book saying there must be a big change in what the public thinks about the word liberal. He believes that liberals must unite with the Democrats and the Green Party in order to win the 2004 election, which is when his book was written. Here are some pros and cons regarding Michael Moore's book. Some of the pros are that the book was very well written, it was funny and satirical at times. It was overall very easy to read, and he used no large vocabulary words. Also, if you're pro-liberal or pro-democratic, you greatly enjoy this book and the ideas that Moore shows in this book. This is because Moore clearly shows where his political background is. He strongly favors the democratic and liberal side. However, there are cons as well. One of the bad things about this book is that he doesn't really give the Republican and conservatives much credit for what they did. He's very one-sided and attacks Republicans and all their policies. However, at times he does give them credit, however, most of the time he just favors the Democrats. Also, he groups Bush with conservatives, although many factions disagree with him today. He puts them all the Republicans and conservatives into one category. Last, Michael Moore especially knows some facts, such as acts and laws such as the Patriot Act, that were passed without an explanation. He talks about them in detail and also quotes people and different ideas about them, but he never explains what it actually is, expecting you to know. Overall, this book was very easy to read, although hard to swallow at times. Sometimes Moore's ideas sound more like conspiracy theories. However, the book was a really good book full of information, new information regarding Bush and many of the things Bush did. Thus, we give this book a rating of 7 out of 10.
Okay. Tell us what you hope to accomplish.
Y'all have the. What are you doing? He's like, boom.
I'm practicing my